people will start.
The recording has started. Webinar started. I know we're going to let people in, or Dawn and Joanna are going to let people in, and then I'll kind of kick us off a minute or two, once we're kind of in. I always give people plenty of time.
Yeah, we're almost to 200 now. They're popping in.
Yeah, they're popping in.
Welcome, everybody.
Welcome. Let's see if we can cap this 500 out.
Yeah, let's see. Wait, I gotta, what is it, 5:31? Okay.
We're going to see how long it takes to get to the.
Yeah, how many minutes it takes to hit 500?
Well, we're at 270, so it may not take long. If you're here, hey, there's a chat in Zoom. If you haven't used it, tell us where you are joining us from. I used to say where we're calling in from, and Joanna always laughs at that, like I'm,
You're not weird.
My 80s radio DJ. Hey, caller.
But you do have a good radio DJ voice, so.
Chat is disabled. What?
No way. Hold on. Let's see what we can do here. Panelists, everyone.
Okay, yep. I was able to send the chat.
I was able to send a chat. Elizabeth.
Can one of you guys see if you can send a chat? I see one of you 296 people, see if you can send a chat or see if it's just.
I can only chat to the hosts and panelists, so it's probably a setting for.
No way.
If that's the case, then I can.
Hold on. Attendees can chat with everyone. Let's see if that fixes it.
I bet you it will.
Oh, look at all those.
Here they are. Whoa.
Okay, that worked. So we're at 300 and we're at what, 3 minutes after?
Yeah.
Wait, one more minute and we're going to get kicked off.
And to be clear, everybody, that was just a demonstration. That was all for show. We were just letting you know that sometimes technology requires a learning curve, and you are fully capable of learning how to use technology for your business. So enjoy the demo about Zoom chat. We were fully prepared. Don't worry about us.
Nancy's calling you out. Good job, Dawn. You know it. Look at everybody. I'm loving this.
All right. Somebody now needs to go and mark all of the chat as disabled Q&A questions.
I got them.
No, so I got Q&A tonight, Joanna.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. I'm going to get us kicked off. We're going to do a couple, well, I guess a little bit of housekeeping. Well, first, let me say thanks for joining us. I mean, it's, 7:30 where I'm at here in Texas. Thanks for spending your evening with us. We've got hopefully some great stuff for you guys to learn tonight from 3 awesome people that use Project Broadcast. My name is Jake Dempsey. They call me the CEO, but I just tell people I'm the chief nerd. As you can tell, I don't take myself too seriously. I'm wearing my Mortal Kombat t-shirt, and I've got my Transformers, Voltron, and Infinity Gauntlet behind me. We're a pretty informal culture at Project Broadcast. Yes, there's 333 people currently in the webinar, and more are joining, but this is just going to be an intimate little chat, very informal. If you have a question, I want you to use the Q&A module that exists in Zoom. You'll see that at the bottom where you've got your chat area and Q&A area. Make sure you use the Q&A to ask a question. If you just want to collaborate and you got something fun to say or just a thought on your mind and you want to engage with everyone else, use the chat, which was disabled 30 seconds ago and now exists. So use chat to say hello, where you're from, what you're loving about the webinar, what you're learning, what you're excited about, how cool my toys are in the background, how awesome Dawn and Joanna are at Project Broadcast. We love seeing that stuff too. So will it be recorded? Yes, it is currently being recorded. So for the folks who aren't able to join us live, they will get a recording, and you'll actually get a recording too as a follow-up email to the webinar. I think that goes out tomorrow, I think. So that will have a link to the recording. As you can see on the screen, we've got the Summit 75 code. So you can use the Summit 75 code to sign up for Project Broadcast, get 75% off your first month, and you can share that info with your teams. And to help you do that, we have a quick, fun little, I guess, is it a giveaway? I guess it's a giveaway. So if you can do me a favor, if you are on your desktop, if you're on mobile, maybe don't do this because I don't want you to, close the Zoom on accident. But if you are on your desktop, go to Instagram and look for Project Broadcast. We probably can throw a link to our Project Broadcast in the in the chat there. It's at Project Broadcast. There should be a post on the Project Broadcast wall about the Impact Summit. I want you to first follow us on Instagram. Come on, give us a follow, help us out here. Like the post that was just posted, comment on it. Maybe what's your favorite feature? I don't know. And then I want you to share that to your own Instagram. And we will pick someone from the list of folks who have shared and commented on that post, but give us a like. I mean, give us a follow too. We'll pick someone from the list that participated, and we're going to give them $100 Project Broadcast credit on their account. And if they're not a user and they win, then they'll get $100 credit on a brand new account, which is pretty cool. It means you get Project Broadcast free for a couple months. We're excited about tonight. Did I miss anything, Dawn or Joanna, that we need for housekeeping?
Can't think of anything.
Because I crushed it. All right, let me stop sharing the screen now that we are here. What did we end up getting to? Did we get to 500? Are we at 3 something?
We're at 374.
I mean, we're not even 10 minutes in. All right, first, I'm going to introduce Christina Keeling. She has a bio. I don't really know what the bio is. I'm just going to tell you what I know about Christina. So Christina runs the engagement source. And whether she knows it or not, I actually talk about her all the time whenever I talk to other entrepreneurs who are building content for people in Project Broadcast. I get calls all the time and they're like, hey, I'm thinking about building content for people. I'm like, have you seen the engagement source? Like, go replicate exactly what they did because they do it better than anybody. If anyone knows how to create content in Project Broadcast that is, one, gorgeous, and two, hyper engaging for their audience, it's Christina. What is Christina talking about? I have no idea. So I'm going to learn just like you are. Christina, floor is yours.
Hello, you're going to make me blush, Jake. I feel like a old hag around these Project Broadcast parts at this point.
Nah,
all right. Okay, well, I'm so excited to be here. Just like Jake said, I have been around the content block for some time. Really quickly, I will give you just a little bit of backstory. Long story short, I was a brand partner. For those of you, I know most of us here are network marketing. Is that what we're thinking our vibes are specifically?
Probably.
Okay, so I was a brand partner with Young Living, and I had my second baby, and it just so happened that was when Jake released the very first version of Boot Camp. And it was a blessing in disguise because I was nursing a baby on my couch and I was able to watch all of the boot camp videos, which was a feat, okay? For those of you that know, Jake is very verbose when he does his training videos, but it was the best training I've ever gone through, seriously.
If you haven't seen boot camp, that is what we call a jab, guys.
Yeah.
they were only 40 minutes of video. It's fine.
Yes. And so, but at the time it was great because I learned the ins and outs of Project Broadcast and I fell in love with it so much, started using it for my own business, and then got the harebrained idea to start creating some content. And my life has literally never been the same. I have personal relationships with both Joanna and Dawn. I'd like to give myself credit for them getting hired with Project Broadcast. I don't know if that's actually true, but they're amazing humans who know Project Broadcast in and out. Like I could literally talk about Dawn and Joanna forever. So if you ever need help with anything PB related, they are your people. And so tonight, I will say, so I started doing some content and I'd say, and Dawn and Joanna, I'm just going to morph you guys into a name. You need to be like Brad and Angelina. We're going to come up with, what did I just say?
Is that John Anna or
Maybe something like that, right?
Dawn Anna. It should be Dawn Anna.
Yeah. We'll just call him DJ.
Okay, I like that. I became known for a piece of content that we call the 90-day funnel. And so this was a very specific piece of content that I became super passionate about when I started creating content, because it was really the reason I started using Project Broadcast. Is, if you can't tell, I am the opposite of Jake in that I love to talk to people, but I'm also not the best at follow-up. And so I knew that So I had 2 young kids. I was still working full time at the time, an office job, and I was trying to run a Young Living business. And I was just, frankly, just not doing a good job. Like, people were just falling through the cracks. I was forgetting to follow up with people. I had new customers coming in the door, and it just was, it wasn't working for me. And so when I literally say Project Broadcast changed my life, I know that sounds super dramatic, but it really did, because it's fine, right, Jake? Yeah.
I mean, it changes everybody's life.
It can change lives.
We're over here changing lives.
Yes, absolutely. It allowed me the ability to follow up, but not just follow up, but automate my follow up. And so we created a piece of content called the 90-day funnel, and it did a lot of things. So for those of you, I know sometimes we use the word funnel. We hear that it's such a marketing term, funnel. But all it is I took a campaign in Project Broadcast, a drip campaign, and instead of creating that drip campaign to have, only 1 or 2 days in between, sometimes I would have 2 weeks in between messages, or 4 weeks, or 15 days. We created a piece of content that allowed our customers, allowed other Young Living brand partners to have an automated follow-up system for their new customers. So you load in your new your new Young Living customer in your Project Broadcast account. You're going to add them to this type of campaign. And Young Living, gosh, y'all, this is, I told you what happens after 8 o'clock. Project Broadcast is going to take care of the rest. And so that funnel is essentially just a series of campaign messages. It's no different than any other campaign that you're possibly creating in your Project Broadcast, but you're just thinking of it very strategically, and you're thinking of it differently. So the whole point of this funnel is to not just automate your follow-up care, but we're looking to accomplish a couple key things. And of course, you're probably thinking like, okay, well, she's talking about Young Living. You can apply this to any network marketing company, okay? It does not matter if you are with Beauty Counter or Juice Plus or whatever company you're with, you can create this type of campaign. And I'm gonna sit here and just walk you through it briefly. If you're looking for some more specific details, feel free to follow up with me after tonight, and I can give you some more nuts and bolts. The campaign I do have for Young Living, I kind of felt like, I can show it for sure, but it's very Young Living specific. So if you're in another network marketing company, it's really not going to help you very much. But to kind of give you a flow of it, I always say that very first month. So we call it the 90-day funnel, because I say in your first 3 months of having any new customer with your network marketing team, that is the most crucial time period. If you lose them, you either lose them or win them in those first 90 days. And so if we don't win them, we don't get them in the door, loving their products, using what they purchased on whatever loyalty rewards program your company offers, and hopefully sharing those products, the chances of them becoming a regular repeating customer just significantly drop over time. And so what we want to do in that first month, my core content for that very first month in your campaign is you're going to send an intro message. Really my core goals in that first month is for them to get to know you and to get to know what they bought. So you want them to know who you are. You're not some weird person texting them randomly. Okay. So we craft very specific intro messages. And Jake, I know that you talk about this a lot. Okay. We're not sending them your life history in 3 paragraphs in an intro text. We don't need to do that. We're just being very specific. I always tell people, like, write your text messages like you're writing them to your mom, and read them out loud. And then if you feel like you need to add a teeny bit more, you can have like 1 more sentence. That's all I'll let you do. And then after that, that's it. You got to send another text message a couple of days later. Okay. So I see lots of people that still struggle with intro messages. If that's you, like Joanna just put my information in the chat, please reach out to me, because I can give you some more tips. But send them an intro, get to know them as a person, and make sure that they're using what they bought. Because I don't know, specifically for Young Living, this is a thing. If someone buys an essential oil bottle and they don't use it all, there's something in their brain that tells them they don't need to buy anything else. They just won't. So if they don't use at least some of what they purchased, they have convinced themselves that they just don't need to buy anything else. Okay,
And
so then
that's really any product, right? If you
right.
go purchase something at Best Buy and don't
Yeah.
use it, you will eventually say, well, this was stupid.
Right. Or I still have some left. I don't need more yet. That's just, natural. And so they've got to start with just making sure they're using and loving what they purchase. So that's all I really focus on in that first month.
Let me ask you something on intro messages, because
Yeah.
I harp on these a lot. I'm curious what your thoughts are.
Yeah.
If you could give people maybe 2 or 3 tips of things to put in an intro message, what would they be? And what are the absolutely do not, if this is in your intro message, you're in trouble type things?
Yeah. And so this is I've been writing content for Project Broadcast for about 4 years now. And so you can look back at intro messages I created right out the gate, and they were really bad. They were bad. I look back at stuff I sold very early on, and I was like, that is horrendous. Oh my gosh. I showed something to my husband the other day. I gave this to people. This is terrible. And so this is awful. So I always say, I do think it helps to include a picture, especially if it's someone you don't know, but I don't think it has to be your perfectly curated headshot from the coffee shop with your,
I think it's better if it's not
yes, I actually find it
personal.
a lot better if it's a picture with you and your kids at the, or just you goofing off, or a silly photo, because it gets people to respond. And so if it's just a professional photo from your last family photo shoot, that's not, it might be beautiful, but there's okay. So that's definitely, I think, helps. I think you have one thing you want to communicate. So maybe it's your name, and there's one other thing you want to communicate. I always say in text messages, we never ask someone to do more than one thing. So if you want them to click a link, that is your one thing. If you want them to opt into a text class, that is your one action. I always tell people, never ask people more than one thing. Because let's say I've seen intro messages where it's here's who I am. You can join our Facebook group here. It's for our members. And I want you to know I'm on Instagram. And I want you to opt in for an intro class. Well, they're going to maybe do one of those 3 things. Or they're not going to do any of them, is what I actually find, is if you ask them to do too many things, they just don't do anything at all. So I typically say have one action item, one action you want them to take. And the one trick, I had actually one of our TES members tell me this probably 6 months ago, so I can't even take credit for it. Hannah Denton, if you're watching, she told me to do this, but Joanna knows Hannah. She told me to add, hey, if you got this text message, I forget exactly how we have it worded. Let me know if you got this text message. And that totally changed intro messages for a lot of people. So I will say that again, at the very end of intro messages, now we always include, hey, for the very first text message they get from you, hey, if you got this text message, can you let me know? Or just something basically where they don't really have to respond, because sometimes intro messages, it kind of feels like, what am I supposed to say? Am I supposed to introduce myself back? I think some people don't really know how to respond to a traditional intro message. So if you give them hey, send me an emoji if you got this. Hey, give me a thumbs up. I just want to make sure, just something about the way it's if we give them a very simple little just very acknowledgement. Yeah, just some little acknowledgement. For one, it helps with the carriers, at least I hope it does, so there's at least that little bit of a back and forth, especially if you're just, shooting them a text and they've never talked to you before. But that has been really, really helpful. So a goofy picture, no more than one action item, and some kind of acknowledgement at the end of that message, I think really helps with intro.
And then do you have any big no-nos? What would be on your no-no list?
Do I have any big no-nos? How much time do we have, Jake?
In the intro message, do you have a big no for the intro message?
I'm making them way too long. Some people, people don't really care about most of the stuff people share in intro messages. I know that sounds so harsh, but I always say, if you keep the focus on the person that you're trying to message and not about yourself. I know sometimes we feel like we have to explain. There's something about when you're using Project Broadcast as a business texting tool, we feel like we have to explain ourselves so much of why we're reaching out to them and what it is that we want them, and we want to make them feel all warm and fuzzy. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that, but we have to remember the communication medium we're using. If you want to send a really big long intro, that's for an email. Basically that's my rule of thumb. If you're sending more than 3 or 4 sentences, probably just needs to be an email, and then you can use text to do follow-up. I also offer that a lot as well. Is if you just are a more wordy person and you want to tell everybody your history with your network marketing company and about your family and how much you love what you do, that's really an email. And your Project Broadcast campaign, your funnel, is just going to look a lot different. It's going to say things like, hey, did you get my email? Or if you'd like to learn more about me, check out the email I sent you this morning. That's where you can be a little bit more wordy in an email. And then that intro text is just, hey, this is my name. Save my number to your contacts. I'm going to be following up with you in a few days, just making sure you're happy with your stuff. Hey, if you got this text message, can you just give me a thumbs up?
So you've got your, maybe someone wants a 30, 60, 90, whatever day funnel they have. Your first goal is get them to know who you are,
Right.
build relationship is what I'm hearing.
Mm-hmm.
And, create content that engages with them, that they engage back with.
Mm-hmm.
So once you get them through that initial kind of stage of relationship, what kind of happens after that? In your 90-day example, what happens after that first 30 days?
Yeah. So that's kind of those first 30 days. I'm kind of really focusing, like what you said, getting to know them, building a little bit of relationship, making sure they're liking and using what they purchased. That second block, that kind of second month, I really focus on making sure they know what other products are available. That's when I might start asking them, hey, would you like to get a weekly tip or some kind of, a gentle off ramp from the funnel to start introducing them to some other products. So whether that's a one-time education series, if you want to send a weekly tip, that's really popular in the Young Living world. I imagine it is in other companies as well. Something where they can start to get a flavor for all of the other products that might be available from your company, so that you can start to talk about whatever monthly auto ship program your company offers. So I usually basically try and take that second month to say, if they're not on monthly auto ship, that's your goal of month 2, is we want them to have hopefully some kind of monthly auto ship set up where they're going to start to explore other products. And that seems to work really well, because so it kind of builds, it's like building blocks, right? That first month, you kind of can't go much forward if they're just not even using and loving what they purchased. So we want to find that out and fix that problem. If they bought something they don't like, or they're not having good results with it, let's try and triage that. So that hopefully by the time that follow-up, those text messages are coming through for month 2, it's a really easy way to introduce your monthly auto ship, because they're seeing positive results. They're enjoying the products. It's like, oh yeah, I'm probably going to need to reorder this anyway. Let's do it. Not everybody's going to be like this, but for the most part, I find it's a much easier transition to get them on auto ship once you've established that rhythm of follow-up, for sure.
Do you find that because Dawn has a great training on this. Wow, I'm going to get to say it, training.projectbroadcast.com tonight. Wow. Look at there, Dawn. So Dawn has this training at training.projectbroadcast.com called High Impact Communication that takes users through this exercise really to figure out what their number one thing is in the business that they should go tackle. I know you work with a lot of our users. Do you do you find that typically customer follow-up is like one of the primary areas that people can start and get a lot of value out of, like early in their project broadcast usage?
I do, because I mean, I find that that's why most people are interested in some kind of mass communication to start with, is if you're in network marketing for any length of time, you have to figure out how to put some systems in place really quick, or it just gets overwhelming, frankly. Like, I think everyone here can probably agree with that. If you're in network marketing and you have more than 5 customers, it just becomes overwhelming to feel like you need to keep up with everybody's individual needs, making sure they're getting the care that you want them to have. So part of what we encourage is, the low hanging fruit is your current customers and touching in with them once or twice a month. That's kind of a really easy start for most people. But then, like, once you get your feet wet and you're comfortable, at least with the basics of project broadcast, the very next thing most people want to implement is some kind of funnel follow-up for your new customers. We have something in the Young Living world called reactivations. People can go inactive and then they come back. And so we kind of have like an abbreviated version of what I'm describing for that group of people. And even if you have new brand partners or new builders or whatever the lingo is for your specific company, if you have new business partners that are in your organization, having some kind of training, 90 days of training follow-up. So whether that's maybe it's just checking in with them and helping them to feel like you're partnering with them, as opposed to them just like getting tossed out into the wild world and like go figure it out. So it doesn't have to be anything like super in depth. Maybe it's just literally checking in with them once a week for their first month, asking them how things are going. Are you struggling with, finding new customers? What's your biggest hang up? Do you feel like you're being salesy? I mean, it could just be very simple, like check-in questions that are geared towards your new brand partners. So, but yes, I cannot tell you enough. I think Joanna put the link. Did I see you put the link in here, Joanna? Everybody needs to go watch that video from Dawn. It is hands down one of the best trainings she's ever done. I talk about it all the time. I have people ask me for the link all the time. This is me like tooting Dawn's horn, but it literally, I've had Diamonds in Young Living message me and be like, what was that training you were talking about the other day? And I was like, it's Dawn, hold on, please. So Jake is absolutely right. That training really will help you, because you'll see in a lot of the Facebook groups for project broadcast, people come up with ingenious ideas all the time. And it's really easy to kind of feel like you're just like grasping, like, oh, I'm going to take this scavenger hunt idea and this sounds really cool. Like, I'd love to do that. And let's go try sending auto ship text messages. And then before you know it, you've now added a bunch of stuff that you feel like you want to do in project broadcast, but none of that might actually be getting you anywhere. Like, it might be fun, but at the end of the day, if you're not using your project broadcast to increase the sales in your business, then you kind of have to be like, okay, we need to go back to what are my goals right now in this current season I'm in? How can I use project broadcast to help me meet those goals a lot easier than if I were just trying to text these people individually or figuring out email or whatever the case may be. So that is, I totally agree. Dawn's high impact communication webinar is an A+.
Well, I know that like we see this a lot, right? We talk a lot to users about all the things you can do. And I always ask people like, what are you doing for? And I really just want to say, are you doing things like follow up and prospecting and product education and team messages and birthdays and gratitude messages to customers? That list is infinite. And your head will explode once you realize all the things you aren't doing in the business that you should be. And I think that training is just helpful to say, listen, there's a massive list of things I could go do. What's the most important thing today? Go implement that. Figure out how to be engaging. Like Christina said, you have to put your messaging in your voice. So like me, for example, when I type, I don't use I don't use punctuation. I don't use letters. I'm a stream of conscious typer. So I type ... type more ... like literally I type ... and then I type more. Like that's just how I communicate over text. So if I, Jake, were to write like a very formal punctuated text and sent it out to people who actually know me, they would be like, who wrote this? So if I were building a customer follow-up,
I can't write text messages for you, Jake. I'm sorry.
yeah. If I were building a customer follow-up campaign and project broadcast, I want to make sure that it sounds like me. It's my voice.
Yeah.
I want my customers to know who I am, and you have to do that. So I know some people said they were really long-winded. That's okay. Then get short-winded. Make it sound like you. Put a picture, like Christina said, where it's not a super formal photo, but it's a photo of you that shows you're a real person.
Yeah.
Build relationship with them early in the process and build on that relationship. You'll hear me say all of the time that especially network marketing, direct sales, the business comes out of relationship, not the other way around. So if that's true, most of the content you create in project broadcast should be about relationship. Either you're, again, doing product education or just building relationship with people. The most common feedback I hear from people are people who send messages like, hey, was thinking about you. Hope you're having a great day. Like that's it. That's all that's in the message. And then they get a massive amount of response from that. And then they have to go engage with their audience, which is where the real work starts.
Yes.
So
absolutely.
Yeah.
That's
Totally.
my number one rule that I tell people. I said, if you start using the 90-day funnel, your main goal is that you have to respond to every single text message.
Yep.
And if you're not ready to do that, then you need to wait on implementing the 90-day funnel, because that's where it will feel ingenuine to the other person, because now they realize it's automated. So if you stop responding mid campaign, they're going to be like, oh, they're going to figure it out. Oh, these are just pre-queued up to send it to me. Whereas if you're conversating with them along the way, they might not ever realize that, depending on how you're writing those messages. So
I'm going to put you on the spot, Christina.
Yeah.
Emily and Heidi are lucky because they're after you, so they'll know this question's coming. What is your favorite feature in Project Broadcast?
Wow. My favorite feature.
There's so many, I know. You just got to.
That is a tough question. Yes, I agree, Wendy. Tough question. Man, what would have been something I was trying to think, like early on, what did I just like go gaga for? I have always loved the contact link. And I know that's like one of the like OG, like original features, but it comes in handy all the time. Like I tell people, like, I know this seems really simple. A lot of people still get a little bit hung up on building their own configurable forms. So I think that's why I talk about the contact link quite a bit, because they don't have to worry about building a configurable form. But the contact link you can use with prospects. It's a game changer with prospects, hands down. I say anytime you're doing anything for prospects, the most easy thing you can do is to just say, hey, I want to make sure I have your name saved in my contacts. Can you just click this link in for me? Sometimes that's all I'll say. Can you just click this link? They'll know what to do when they open up the link. For those of you that are asking about the contact link, when you're creating a message in Project Broadcast, and you can add what's called the contact link as a dynamic field into a message. And all that does is allows that person to update their name and add their birthday. So obviously you can use that for prospecting to make sure you actually have their name. I use first name on almost every single message I ever send, ever. So if you don't have their first name, some of those messages are going to feel really awkward. So obviously not every single prospect always clicks the contact link, but more chances than not, I feel like they do. You can use that when you're asking for birthdays. Like you don't have to create a special form to collect birthdays. You just use the contact link. How else have I used it? It's just come in handy. I've just sent it in one-on-one chat messages. Like I've had people contact me, like some of you guys have texted me tonight, which is super awesome. But if I didn't know what your name was, or if you didn't tell me what your name was, I would literally send you the contact link and say, hey, I need you to click this and update this for me, please. So I know it seems like a really silly, probably seems like an insignificant thing, but early on, that was one of my favorite features because I didn't have to do anything. It was already pre-built in Project Broadcast, and you can literally add it in so many different scenarios. So that and voicemail drops. I forgot about voicemail drops. That'd probably be my number 2.
Yeah, those are kind of cool. I'm going to close with this request. There are a bunch of questions, and many of them are around this same idea. So I'm going to try to paraphrase them all into one ask. I guess I'm putting you on the spot, so it's probably hard to say no, but would you be willing to put together like a PDF of your 90-day funnel from the sense of here are the goals for this part of the funnel? I don't know that, obviously we have people in here across tons of different companies, maybe not even network marketing and direct sales, but would you be willing to put together a PDF? We'll share it with our Facebook group and obviously all the folks that are attending the summit that just goes over, here's a 90-day example, and here's the goals I'm trying to achieve in each of those stages of the funnel.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that wouldn't take me any time. I'd be happy to do that. Actually, while we were talking, I was like, I should have something to show, and everything I have is all super Young Living specific, which I don't feel like that's very helpful if you're not in Young Living. But I can also give, I can show you what my intro message looks like for Project Broadcast, and you can just swap out Young Living for whatever your company is, or if you're a real estate agent or what have you. But that's not a problem. Oh, Jake.
I would do anything for you.
Don't you know that?
It's not for me, it's for all of these folks. I think that probably killed 90% of the questions that were currently outstanding. There was some version of, what does she do at the beginning of the funnel, in the middle of the funnel, and someone said at the end of the funnel? So I think.
So for everyone, I'll give you that timeline breakdown. That's no problem. I think the only thing I would add is just for that last third month is when I'm harping on making sure they're getting a positive result and asking them if they want to start sharing. So that's when I feel like that is when it feels the most appropriate to me. Everybody feels differently about that. I feel like I have no reason to ask them to share if I don't know that they're loving the product and they aren't super jazzed. Why would someone share if I didn't know that? So again, some people feel differently in me. That's how I've always structured it, and it seems to work. But I feel like you have a much more better chance of getting some positive feedback. And I usually don't even go for the kill on are you ready to give up your whole life and become a Young Living brand partner, or are you ready to own your own business? I think usually for most of us, we got to where we were because we shared our link with our mom, because we wanted to get a free bottle of lavender or something, or whatever that is for your specific network marketing company. And it usually grows into, oh, I could actually use this as a side hustle, or I could pay for my kids' soccer lessons with this. But that all came after I had already used the products, had started loving them, had asked a couple people, have you ever used this before? I'm really kind of liking this. It's kind of cool, I'm just kind of exploring. I set up my auto ship and was really loving some other products, so that when my upline asked me, hey, would you be interested in sharing? It was very natural. And it was wasn't weird that she was asking me that question. So that's kind of how I conclude the 90-day funnel. And a lot of times it does open up conversations about sharing in a greater sense of building a business, because some people really need that. But most of the time we just want to get their feet wet. I think the best, I always will say, there is an old post in the Project Broadcast group. If you search woodland creatures in the Project Broadcast group, there is one of the best Jake Dempsey Facebook posts. And that has been my kind of barometer of whether you're writing text messages. We don't want to scare off the woodland creatures. And so the more you can break down into tiny itty bitty chunks what you want to communicate, how you want them to take action, where you want to take them on that journey, that is your goal, is to give them you're leaving little corn for the deer to come and to come where you want them to go.
Somebody reads my Facebook post. Christina, thank you so much for coming and spending time with us tonight. Christina's going to be hanging out with us, guys. She'll be in the chat. Do me a favor, use the emotion. Is it emotion? No, reactions with Zoom. Whatever, Dawn. Use the reaction, give her a big heart, a clap, a thumbs up. Tell her how much you enjoyed her chat. She is a blessing to all of us. She creates content for people. She helps people all the time in our Facebook groups, not just in the Young Living group that she participates in, but even in the regular Project Broadcast Facebook group. And somehow we've weaseled her into creating us a PDF for everybody. So score. Thanks.
Thank you for having me, Jake.
Awesome. Thank you. All right. Before we move on to our next speaker, we are actually going to do a small poll, I guess, that I wanted to do at the beginning and I forgot to do it. But I don't know if we have people who are current Project Broadcast users on our Impact Summit tonight, or people who are new or they don't even use Project Broadcast. So we have a poll. Let's see if I can do this correctly. Wait, who launched it? Did I launch it? Love it. Okay, the poll. Do you guys see the poll, or do I only see the poll? You can see the poll too?
Oh, I can see the poll because 227, 42, 200. Yeah, I can answering. Wow.
That's good participation. All right, so most of the people in here today are using Project Broadcast. And we've got people who, well, I guess you guys can see this, who've signed up, but they haven't started really using it yet. Hopefully Christina's chat about, how to kick off a 90-day funnel, along with the awesome piece of content she's going to create for us that we can share with you guys, will help you create that piece of content. And if you haven't signed up yet, what Christina's talking about is using a feature in Project Broadcast called campaigns. Primarily it would be our drip style campaign to create a funnel like a new consultant onboarding or a new customer onboarding that you can use in Project Broadcast. So don't forget, you've got the Summit 75 code that you can use to sign up for Project Broadcast. And guess what? For the 245 people who have already said they are Project Broadcast users, give the code to someone else so they can sign up. Make sure you share the link to the Summit. They can come back and watch this, as a recording after we're done. And the Summit 75 code will still be active, so they can sign up and get 75% off their first month with Project Broadcast. So thank you, Christina. And I think we got 85%. I think we did get 85% participation in the poll. It's pretty good. Do I end it now? Oh, wait, no, someone just answered. Do I leave it up? I don't know where it stays. All right, our next speaker is Heidi Pratt. Now, everyone, I want you to clap up Heidi for a second. Heidi was a little nervous because she is actually a fairly new Project Broadcast user. So she's a photographer, I think, of like 20 years.
20 years.
20 years she's been a photographer, and she's been growing her business in Saint, I think, for a number of years. She's also fantastic boy mom, but a fairly newcomer to Project Broadcast. And she was like, wait, do I have what it takes to talk to these people? Yes, because Heidi uses all the things. She's going to come talk to everybody about how she uses Project Broadcast to automate her business. Again, if you have questions, ask it in the Q&A. And if you just want to have fun, chat, and make fun of me, then use the chat for that. I'm going to end our poll so we can focus on Heidi.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be sharing with you guys how Project Broadcast has really been a game changer for me. Truly being able to automate my business. I mean, like he said, I kind of feel like I have three businesses. I've got my business with Saint. I need to know if there's any Saint girls in the house, so throw it up in the comments if you are a Saint lady. I see a few of my gals coming in, but I also am an affiliate with multiple brands on social media, and which feels like a job in itself. And then I run my photography business. So as you can tell, I'm really busy. That doesn't even include wifing and momming, like just work is just busy. And one of those businesses could be overwhelming in itself. And so, yay, I see some Saint girls. I love that. Welcome, Saint sisters, and everyone else. But basically my mission through my Saint business is to help women to love themselves the way they are, who they are, through simple hair and makeup tutorials and authentic connection. And that authentic connection piece is key to my business and something that I wasn't fully able to embrace until I automated my business. And you may feel like that sounds a little backwards, like, wait a second, automating a text gives you authentic connection. Well, yes, I'm going to explain how. For me, imagine, I mean, you guys all have your own businesses, and we've got Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, all of the things everywhere we're creating content for, and we've got inboxes in all of them. We've got videos and reels that we're posting and interaction on those that you have to try and keep up with. And that gets overwhelming to follow up with people. And like, think about how many people, have you ever thought, gosh, I chatted with that one gal the other day and I really want to follow up with her, but I don't remember if it was on Messenger or on Instagram. I can't remember. And then you're searching through, you're wasting so much time searching through your messages, trying to figure out where that was because you don't want to let the ball drop. So much. So once I automated things, I was able to go, oh, it was like taking a deep breath of like, I can actually think because everything is now in one place. I know where everything is that is important to me to follow up with right now in this moment. I don't have 3 inboxes to sift through. I don't have real comments to sift through. It's all right here in my app. And it has just allowed me to be able to go, okay, I can think again. And what that does is it allows me to go, what do my people need and how can I serve them? And when I'm in that method of being able to say, how can I serve my people better? That creates authentic communication between us, right? And so I have 7 examples of how I automate my business through Project Broadcast. I hope that's okay. It's not, I don't want to overwhelm anybody, but I was just thinking through like all of the ways that I use it. And so I'm going to walk you through those 7 ways really quick. Hopefully I don't take too much of your time, but tell me if I'm talking too fast too. Okay. So number 1, and there's going to be a little bit of overlap from what the amazing Christina was talking about, because that's just the drip campaign. We'll get there. Okay. So number 1, I automate with keywords for my initial contact with potential customers. So in my business, I am sharing makeup and how this makeup can change people's lives. How I can do tips and tricks, make things easy for people. But in order for somebody to purchase the line of makeup that I sell, the first step is a color match. They need to be matched by an artist in order to find the right colors, right? And so for you and your business, it's going to be different. Think of what is that first connection that you need to make with somebody, and you're going to kind of integrate it in your own way. But what I do is I have a keyword. So most of you, it sounds like most of you already use Project Broadcast. So you understand the keyword. And what that does is they send me a text and it automates back to them the information that they need. Okay. And so I'm going to just close the chat for a second because it's going to distract me. So I apologize. So my keyword is color match, and everybody on my social media knows that in order to get a color match, they need to text me. It's on my reels. It's in the description of my videos. It's in my Instagram bio. It's in my link in my bio. It's everywhere. So people know that this is how they contact me. Once they text color match, they get an automatic response. I think it's on like a 2-minute delay so that it doesn't feel like it.
You use the reply delay? That is my favorite feature, Christina.
That's your favorite feature? The delay?
It's the smallest feature in Project Broadcast, and it is probably honestly my favorite feature because exactly what you just said. Yeah. Someone texts you the word color match, you have a 2-minute delay, they get a response 2 minutes later, and it feels like to them, you type them a response and send it to them. I love that feature.
Yes, absolutely. And you can set that at 5 minutes if you want. We get the ability to set that at whatever we want. So to me, this sets up not only having all of my stuff go to one place, which is simplifying my life, but it is creating a better customer experience for my potential customers because they're getting what they need right away. So they're not having to wait 24 hours when soccer and dinner is made for me to check my inbox, right? Like it's getting them what they need. And let's be honest, how many people are just really want that instant gratification these days, right? Not that we need to encourage it, but a lot of people are just really wanting that. And so I send them this automatic response that says, oh my gosh, I'm so excited that you're excited about getting color matched. I cannot wait to help you. Here's the link. I just need you to fill out this form. But first, if you have any questions, please, I'm here to answer your questions. Shoot them at me. Let's chat. And so it's not just sending them the information that they need, though they do have that right away. It's opening conversation. So automation isn't just sending them info. It's really getting them to chat back with you. And I can't even tell you the text conversations that have come from this project broadcast system blow me away. People texting me as if I've known them for months. They're telling me, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. My dog peeped on the floor and I couldn't get here. And it's just like, I don't know this person from Eve, but she feels comfortable enough with me to have a conversation via text because I've made myself personable to her and made myself open to her. And so automation doesn't have to be stale or like impersonable. It actually absolutely can shift it to the opposite way. So keep that in mind. So that's example one. Example two is what Christina was talking about. Customer retention, customer care is key for our businesses. You have to do that. And before Project Broadcast, I had notes everywhere. I don't know, I may even had a spreadsheet somewhere of like, this customer purchased 2 weeks ago. So now I have to follow up. Okay, did I thank them? Okay, oh my gosh, I'm a week late in thanking them. Let me send them a thank you email. Or like, oh my gosh, I didn't check in with so-and-so. Is she loving her makeup? Are the colors right? Like, I don't have to keep track of any of that anymore because Project Podcast does it all for me.
Now
So,
for your follow-up, because you know, I want to ask some specifics because I think some people on the call on our Impact Summit want to know like exactly like what are you doing? So
yeah.
I'm guessing you have a drip campaign.
So basically
For your follow-up system, for your follow-up system, what's kind of your cadence to your message?
So when I send them their color match results, what I'm doing is saying, okay, here's your results, and I'm giving them their own personal landing page with all of their results in it. And then I say, if and when you decide to place an order, like I give them a link to shop and everything, it's all in their landing page. But I say, if and when you decide to shop, would you please respond done to this text message so that I can prepare you to get all of your new goodies in the mail? And I didn't know if that was going to work at first, but I'm telling you, like 98% of the time I will get a text that somebody texts done. And what that is another keyword that's then putting them into my drip campaign. So that done keyword triggers the drip campaign, and they get a series of 5 texts over the next, it's probably 90 days, somewhere in that 90-day funnel. There's an immediate thank you. Then I do, your order has shipped. I do, your order has probably arrived. This is how you set up your compact. How is it going? Is it love at first sight? And then at like 3-4 months down the road, hey, the seasons are changing. Do you need a new color match? So the other thing I wanted to mention about those messages that I personally do, and I think that in my opinion, it really, really helpful to build relationship with my customers, is that I'm sending them a link to a video instead of just sending them text. So I've created a video that says, like literally looking them in the eye, thank you for supporting my business. This is huge for me. And then I use that also, I've got their attention. I'm thanking them for being a part of my business and my community. And then I use that time in front of them to plant little seeds. Like, just so you know, there's the opportunity to host parties, and you could also be an artist. Like, plant those seeds. And then every video they get, I'm watering that seed just a little bit. And so, but I think personally that sending them a link to a video is just kind of the next step, rather than just sending them a text that says, hey, thanks so much, I appreciate it. Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Fantastic. So that's probably my favorite part of the automation, is just being able to put everybody in a drip campaign and not have to worry about it anymore. obviously it's not that, again, it's not that I'm just sending them tons of information and letting them be like this stuff I'm sending them is creating conversation so that then I am interacting with them. No, will they have to maybe wait for me to finish dinner before I can respond to their questions or their responses? Yes, but they have what they need in that moment and we're all good. So, okay, number 3 is parties and hostess prep. If you are with a direct sales company, which most of us, it sounds like are, you probably have some sort of party system or format. You can set up text parties, you can set up scrolling parties. I could do a whole training on parties that would take forever. I mean, like its own section. So I won't go into that. But the thing that automated my business the most through parties is the hostess prep. I don't have to keep track of which hostess is which week and what day they're on in, okay, it's invite day, okay, it's follow-up day. Like they go into another drip campaign and that campaign sends them a text every day, giving them exactly what they need to do that day for their successful party. So I think you guys are probably getting an idea of how automation can really be powerful in your business. So I'm just going to really fast go through the other ones. Recruiting, use a keyword if you're putting out a reel about talking about artist program or joining my team or whatever it is. Create a keyword. Mine is artist. So if they're interested in signing up to be an artist, they text it to me and they get an instant response until I can follow up to their questions. Something I kind of feel like is, I don't know, you guys can tell me, maybe it's not as creative as I think, but I'm running a contest right now and I'm using Project Broadcast to keep it really easier for me because contests can be a nightmare. And so I have the main thing to enter, they text opt-in, which is a keyword. Okay, so you set up the opt-in. They have to fill out their information on a configurable form. So I have all of their info and then they're on my text VIP list. Okay, so that's simple. But then I went a step further. I kind of go big or go home. I don't know.
The way you go.
I set up this thing where like every day on my social media, on one of my social media platforms, I post a word of the day. And so they have to go find this word of the day. And sometimes it's in my stories, so it'll disappear. So I encourage them all to turn on notifications so that they don't miss out on a word of the day.
Is that a keyword?
It's a keyword. So I have a keyword for 17 days. Every day they text me the word of the day. And then all of the words, I feel like a big dork. All of the words form a sentence,
I think it's genius.
All of the words form a sentence, which is a trivia question about makeup. And if they come up with a question and text me the result, like the right answer.
So the answer to the whole sentence is also a keyword?
Yes, the answer to the whole sentence is a keyword that gives them 50 extra entries. So they have to follow along.
That is super cool. And
Isn't it fun?
You could do that for prospecting, but you could even do that for like team building. Like,
oh, for sure. Yeah.
I love that idea.
So my keyword list in Project Broadcast right now is a lot longer than normal, but I can delete them after the giveaway. But the cool part is I don't have to go at the end and start like tallying all these things on social media posts. I can go into Project Broadcast and say, who texted this word? Here's a list. There's my entries. Who texted this word? Here's a list. And it's like game changer. It's so fun.
I think that's super cool.
Thank you. I thought it was fun too, but
Heidi, I changed my mind. I forgot about the contest. That's definitely my number one. I changed my mind. I take it back. Contest.
I love it.
I love that space because I've heard of people using scavenger hunts and keywords, but not, embedding the word in your, because then it's also like encouraging people to follow you on social each day.
Like the goal is, I want you checking my social media posts every day. I want you being interactive. And so, and hey, I want you to turn on notifications. Like,
I love it.
Why not? So that leads me to number 6, affiliate brands. If you are affiliate with anybody else, make a keyword. I mean, if there's a sale going and you're promoting a sale for another company, you make their company name a keyword, they text it and you send the link and the code right to their phone. They don't have to wait. They don't miss out on the sale because they missed you in your inbox. Easy peasy fast. And then number 7 is templates. I feel like I've been talking like a mile a minute. I hope you guys are like, I hope
That's
I'm
a lot
good.
of info.
What?
guess
It is
what?
a lot of info.
But
I'm
guess
sorry.
what? There's a recording. People can go back and listen to
Okay.
each one by itself.
Can you guys tell I'm just jazzed on Project Broadcast? Like I've
Well,
been using it for maybe 6 months.
Here's what I want to tell you, Heidi, and I think everyone who's on here probably would agree with me. I have heard just in this short time, you're using obviously chat, but you're using keywords and campaigns and landing pages and configurable forms you've mentioned already. So I would say your ninja status in 6 months. I mean, that's pretty impressive. So, and
Well, thanks.
great, I think great, tips for people in terms of the things they can go automate.
Good. I'm glad. I really hope that it's helpful and it's not overwhelming. But I just want people to understand that the automating process is so powerful through this program that it's just a game changer. I do really quickly want to share number 7 is templates. It's not necessarily automation in itself, but it fits in with that because we all have questions that we answer all day, all the time, right? Like, how much does your product cost? How long does it last?
What's
Think
the
about
promo this
those.
month?
Yeah. Think about all those things and how often are you typing an email or a text back to somebody to answer that question? Just go into the templates feature, type it out in a generic way. When somebody asks it, you click on it, cost, it populates. You can adjust it a little bit if you need to, personalize it, hit send, and you've just saved yourself 5 minutes. And 5 minutes times how many times a day saves you so much time and energy. So in conclusion, save yourself time, create organization, free up your mind space to serve your people. That is so huge. And simplify communication all into one app on your phone. And voila, your life gets so much better.
I agree. I have a ask, well, 2 asks for you.
Okay.
One, you already know that's what's coming. What is your favorite Project Broadcast feature?
Landing pages.
Oh God, they're so good, aren't they?
By far. Like when you said it, I was like, there's just no question. For me, it's landing pages. I use them for my color match response. I use them for sales. I use them for scrolling parties. I use them. I just use them for everything. Like everything that I've talked about here, like you could use it for a hostess prep. Instead of sending them a text every day, you send them a landing page that has all the information. Like for those of you who don't know what landing pages are or haven't used them, that dig into that because it's a huge resource for you that's free and amazing. They're like little mini websites. So
I'm getting a bunch of questions real quick that I want to answer. What's a landing page? It is like a micro website that you can build in Project Broadcast for free. We don't charge anything extra for it. We built it because a lot of people were paying extra for other tools and services to build landing pages. And we're like, we could do that. Mm-hmm. So it's a whole feature set in Project Broadcast. You can go to training.projectbroadcast.com. There is a training on landing pages. If you don't have a training account, you do have to create a training account on the training website, but it's free. Go get training. A few other questions were, what's a scroll party? Scroll party came about really during COVID, honestly, where we knew people were using Project Broadcast with keywords to create text parties where you would create like a keyword, socialize it on your different platforms. People would text you the keyword, well, let's just say party. They text you the word party. You would add them to a time-lapse campaign and maybe send them a text every 5 minutes and teach them about your product and eventually drive them to, make a buying purchase or schedule a meeting with you or a color match in Heidi's case. And then we saw, again, a lot of creativity come to market where people started using landing pages and they would just create a very long landing page. And now when you text the word party, you get one message response that says, whatever, thanks so much for wanting to learn about Acme unicorns. Here's click this link to learn all about unicorns. And then you click the link and it would just be a long landing page that they would scroll through to learn about you and your product. And again, ultimately drive them either to a website or make a buying decision, but it ends up being just one big long landing page. And I think it's a genius use case. There's a few companies that I see in Project Broadcast that use landing pages really, really heavily. Yeah. One thing that I see people also asking, if I can get you to build something.
What's that?
I mean, I'm giving everybody homework. I think we got so many people responding in chat and in the question area. would you mind putting together a generic example? Even it could just be a Facebook post in the Project Broadcast Facebook group on your super scavenger hunt. I don't even know what you call it, but
The contest, the giveaway.
yeah, like maybe tell them like why you do it the way you do it and how you do it, and give them like a simple example. I think people would really love that, because I think it's a pretty cool use case for Project Broadcast.
Sure, absolutely.
Now, other questions that I've seen come through a lot. You've heard people talk about Facebook groups in Project Broadcast. Heidi's in Saint. There is a Saint Project Broadcast Facebook group. Christina talked about Young Living. There is a Young Living Project Broadcast Facebook group. I believe there's about 40 different Facebook groups that are supported by Project Broadcast. There is a post in the main Project Broadcast Facebook group with a link to most of them. And I just realized we have not updated that in a few months. So there's probably a few that aren't on there. So we will take a to-do item to get that list updated, and we will bump it to the top of the group. I think it's actually pinned in the group. If you go look there and look for your company, you'll probably see your company there and the group that, you know, that corresponds to it. Some of you have asked about content. So if you're in Saint and you love Heidi's content and you think she might want to share some of it with you, guess where you would ask that? In the Saint Project Broadcast Facebook group. A lot of users create amazing content, and they share a lot of it, and they use a feature called bundles to do that. So make sure you join the Project Broadcast Facebook group, the main group, and then make sure if you're in a specific company, look for your company's group and join that group. And then you can get additional support and help from your peers that are in the same company as you are. So Heidi, I think you're officially a ninja. I'm sorry. You can't, you're
Well, thanks.
6-month-old ninja.
So fun. Can I just say one more? I know I'm probably over my time.
No, of course, go ahead.
I just want to encourage anybody who does not yet have their automation set up, don't wait until your business is bigger, because I did this because I had my my photography business and the 3 things all together, and I was like overwhelmed. I had to streamline. That's why I set up Project Broadcast in the beginning. But like maybe less than a week after my Project Broadcast got set up, I had a reel go viral, because I didn't have a following before that. But my reel went viral and I would have sunk if I didn't set it up. So please don't wait until it's too late. Like, get it set up now, because if you're sending out content consistently, it's only a matter of time until you're going to need it 100%. Okay. So just, even if your business is itty bitty right now, set up your automation now while you have the time to do it.
And not only that, I get asked this a lot. Do I need Project Broadcast? I only have 5 customers, or pick some number. I only have 10 customers. And I always say, but don't you want more? Like, Project Broadcast isn't just for follow-up for existing customers and team. It's also, you've talked a lot about this. It's for you. It's used for prospecting. It's a way to grow your business. So even if you have a team of 0, you can use Project Broadcast to actually grow your business on the prospecting side and start that, frankly, day one. So
100%,
totally agree. Thank you.
I can't chat in the chat. I can only respond to hosts and panelists, and I would love to be able to get in that chat.
Why?
That's possible. I don't know, but it's a setting, I'm sure, on your end.
Panelists, try it now. You know, there's these buttons. There's these buttons you got to click all the time.
Thank you.
Emily, now you have access. It only took me.
I didn't know. Sorry, guys.
Minutes. She's like, can I get access? I'm like, yeah. 1 second.
Speaking of Emily, she's our next speaker. So Emily is a multipreneur. I always say, what do I tell people I am? It's not that word. It's something to that effect. Oh, a serial entrepreneur. I'm like, what is the word I use? I don't even remember. So Emily is kind of a, I guess, social media expert. Can I say expert? Is that okay to say, Emily?
I mean, I don't. Oh, sure.
I'll say it for her. Yes, ma'am. Yes,
Emily's
ma'am.
going to come talk to us about retaining our customers through valuable, and I love this word, engagement. It's so important. Again, if you have a question, ask it in the Q&A. Use chat to have fun, talk with everyone else, and have a party. Don't forget, make sure to share the conference summit. What are we calling this thing? The Impact Summit, with people in your social circle. So share it on Instagram, share it on Facebook. Go to the Instagram of Project Broadcast. Make sure you follow Instagram, follow Project Broadcast on Instagram, like our post, comment on that post, and share that post. Man, I got it all out. We're going to pick a winner. You get $100 credit, and we're going to now listen to Emily school us on valuable engagement. You got the floor, Emily.
Okay. Hi, everybody.
Hey.
Okay, first, if your butt feels numb from sitting, like just take a minute, stretch, and stand up if you need to. Okay. I get really nervous before I talk, so that's also for me to calm myself. Hi.
I get short of breath.
I just get real sweaty. Oh God. Hi.
Hi, this is Emily. She's very sweaty right now. Welcome to Valuable Engagement.
Hi, everybody. Okay, here we go. So I have been with Arbonne for a little over 9 years. So I've had my Project Broadcast account for, I want to say a year, maybe a little over a year. So I want you to imagine, depending on how long you've been with your network marketing company or whatever other type of business you have, how did you previously follow up with people? I did phone calls. I sent things through the mail. I started using text messaging, and then I would be like, this person is on Facebook and they don't want text messages. So now I have to remember to message them on Facebook when they have a reward at the end of the month or the beginning of the month, or they want a text message, or maybe they want me to message them on some other platform, right? Like I had to keep up with all of that. Who else feels me on this? And especially if you've had a network marketing business for a while, I had a lot of customers, I had a lot of consultants. It was hard to keep up with all of them. So I had started using Hit 'em Up, and that was nice, but I still had to hit send on every, sometimes hundreds of messages, send, right? So this automation piece that Project Broadcast offers is going to change your business, no matter what type of business you're in, but especially for network marketing. I know Jake is going to ask me my favorite feature. And what I am going to say is that it's scheduled messages.
Really?
Heck yes. Because my brain, if I'm like, oh my God, it's 10 o'clock at night and I need to remember to text someone a random question that I had about a product or whatever, I can schedule it to go out the next day instead of texting them like in the middle of the night. I can schedule it for like 8:23 the next morning. And so it looks like a normal time that it arrives, right?
Do you use it in the chat area, or do you do like a full-blown scheduled broadcast to the one person?
I just go to the schedule. I don't do a broadcast. I just go to schedule it. And then at the very bottom where it allows me to schedule the time, I do that. If it's to an individual person.
I'm going to take a note to show Emily where to do that in chat. It'll blow her.
Got it.
I think I can do it in the chat. You're catching me off guard.
Sorry. Don't sweat.
The other thing I want to say is if you're here, whether you're watching it live or the recording, take the time to do all of the trainings that Project Broadcast has for us. Like if you have not done those, you're doing yourself a disservice. All the questions for the most part that you have can be answered if you take the time to follow those trainings, and they will walk you through. I mean, that's what I did. I just like jumped in. You guys, my background is in sports medicine. Okay. So like learning how to use technology is not like something that my brain did very well. Like if you want to ask me about the human body, I can like tell you almost anything you want to know, but technology was not necessarily my friend. And all of the trainings in Project Broadcast are so helpful. Plus you earn credits, text messages. Okay. So I do a few things to keep customer retention. So once you have people into your Project Broadcast, so just like Christina and Heidi talked about, a lot of what I would share about what they talked about is the same. I do a few things for retention. The first thing is I send out a birthday message, and I'm hoping I can share my screen here because I want to show you what I do. I am very much a visual learner. So I just want to show you really quickly. If you don't use Canva, I would highly encourage you to create a Canva account. Okay. You can do it for free, and it's honestly not that much money annually. It's like $119 a year. So I just created a very simple image. I bought a Starbucks card. I don't drink Starbucks. So like this was probably the hardest part for me to figure out how to buy the Starbucks card, take the image, put it into Canva, and then I just removed the background off of it, which anyway, simple. You can create something simple. This text message is set up to go out to everyone on my list on their birthday. So they just get a text message and I have a message with it that says something like, happy birthday. I hope it is your best year yet, which is, sorry, I have a 4.5-year-old. Hold on. I'm training, buddy. I need you to go back.
Every mom ever literally just have that moment of feeling what she's going through. My 4-year-old just came up and was like, hey, so Emily is feeling everything that we're feeling right now.
Okay, let me try and pull my brain back together here.
You're good. Come on.
So the way I would speak to someone, if I was like posting on their Facebook page for their birthday, is I would say, I hope it's your best year yet. What are some of your plans? What are some fun things you're doing? Just include that in the message, and you can set it up as a campaign so that it goes out whatever their birthday is, and you have their birthday entered in to their information. This goes out. I cannot tell you how many people respond and are like, oh my God, it's so kind of you that you remembered. Like, thank you so much. Not everyone uses it. Some people do. I mean, I think maybe some people forget, but it is a way to remind people that they are more than just a customer to you. They are more than just a number of what they purchase. And that is really important. I can't tell you how many times I've sent, this message has gone out automated, and then the person that received it places an order. This message has nothing to do with Arbonne, but they go and place an order because they're reminded that I am humanizing our connection with one another. So the birthday message. The next thing I do, let me look back at my notes because my husband has lured our child out of here, so I think it should be good. Oh my gosh. Okay. The other thing I do, so I am with Arbonne, which is a health and wellness company. My professional educational background is in sports medicine and public health. So I took all of that and decided to start doing a Wellness Wednesday Nurture series of text messages. This has been huge for me, you guys. And it's not just for my customers, anyone can opt in. People have asked me before if I will share it all. And what I will say is I'm happy to share some examples of what I've done, but they're all like personal to me. I'll talk about like, hey, let's talk about why sleep is so important. And then I'll explain like my sleep struggles. So me just sharing my entire campaign doesn't really make sense. But I want to give you an idea of think about how you can offer value to the existing customers you already have that doesn't necessarily have to do with telling them about savings or specials from your company. So I set this up in the campaigns. I have it set up as Wellness Wednesday, and then I have it set up as a calendar campaign. So every week when I'm ready to schedule my next one, I just click into the calendar messages, I click on the plus mark, and I create my new message. And so I just always do Wellness Wednesday and then the date. So I can like go back and look and remember what I sent to them on what date. I use Canva to create an image each week to go out with each text message. You don't have to do that. But I want my Instagram profile name on every image so that if they send it to their best friend, they know where to find me. They can go to Instagram and find me. So I was going to pull some of these up. I don't know if you'll be able to see all of them. I do sprinkle Arbonne business stuff in there, right? So like it's Wellness Wednesday. We do a 30 days to healthy living program. So maybe once every 4 or 5 weeks, I will sprinkle something in there about, we're kicking off another healthy living program. If that's something you're interested in, I want to share this testimony from someone who did the program last month. But I don't do that all the time because I want them to really know that this is about me sharing wellness information from my brain to give them value. People love this. And the other thing is like some of these are recipes. I'm going to click in one and see if it doesn't pull it up big enough for you to see. I don't think. You can kind of see this, right? This is a recipe. So I know for me, if somebody sends me like a link to a recipe, I'm going to lose it. So that's also why I create an image. They can save it to their phone, right? but having your information on anything you create, whether it's your project broadcast phone number or your Instagram account or your Facebook handle, like whatever it is, so that if the image that you shared gets passed along, whoever they shared it with can come back and find you. I also sporadically, as I'm sending these messages out, will say, if like these aren't serving you right now, you can always respond back, pause, and I will take you off the list. That has, instead of stop, so I have a keyword set up that if someone responds back, pause, they're automatically marked do not message, but they're not thrown into the portion of Project Broadcast where I can never message them again. Because if they respond stop, to my knowledge, that means like they have to opt back in on their own. So those are two of the things I do. Now there was one more. What else do I do? Oh, all right. Let me move this over. So the other thing that I utilize a lot is templates. I make sure to message my customers at the beginning of every month. So I don't have a template for that because I create that every month to say like, here are the savings and specials. If there's anything on here you're interested in, message me back. I don't create landing pages for each of those months just because honestly, in the chaos of life, that has not happened yet. But I have really great feedback from my customers. They'll respond back and say, I'm really interested in such and such special. Can you send me more information? Sometimes I will include a direct link straight to my website so they can just click on it if that's something they're ready to do. It kind of depends on what specials are going on because you're limited by the number of characters you can put in a text message. And as Christina mentioned, like you don't want to write a book. You don't want to write a book. You want to give them brief details. Our attention spans are short. We're more likely to check text messages than emails, but still give them basic information. The templates that I do use every month, and these will be different. Obviously, every network marketing company is different what you offer. But every month we have preferred clients, our discount buyers, could have free gifts on their account that are expiring. A free gift with purchase. So I already have that message set up. I have an image already dropped in there. I update that image every month in Canva with the new date on it because people need things to be simplified, you guys. You can type out a really great text message. They might not read it, but they're going to see right here, free gift and shipping, and they're going to see the expiration date. So it was so easy to create in Canva. Again, my background is in the human body. So know that if you don't have a background in technology, you can learn. You just have to be patient with yourself and the process. So I can pull this template up. I can plug in the people since Arbonne is not connected yet to the back end of Project Broadcast so that our systems can talk to one another. But hopefully, eventually when that happens, until then, I can go into my back end reports. I can look at the people who have rewards for the month that are expiring. I can add them in to a message and it will send out to them. The other thing I do is remind preferred clients when it's their renewal month. Having these templates set up saves me so much time. Okay. It's just a simple message that will send out to them, hey, I've got my Arbonne hat on. Again, that's how I would talk. That's how I would speak to them. And I wanted to let you know your account is up for renewal, right? And I have the image right there so that if they don't read what I wrote, they can see it and they can always, respond back. I can help them with it. I say that in the message, but I can easily pull up these templates to then communicate with them monthly. Oh, I feel like there was one more I had in here. Maybe it was, I will also send a similar message to consultants who are up for renewal. But I do those individually just because I can make it a bit more personal. The most important part here is you are an entrepreneur. You own a business and your customers want to hear from you. I know all of us have heard of, no matter which network marketing company you're with, you have heard from someone in the past say, I used to buy Pampered Chef from someone, but I don't even know who it was. And I would really like to purchase again, but I don't know how to get in touch with them. Hello. Talk to your customers, nurture the relationship with them, and you can totally do it in an automated way that is personalized. Totally. I mean, everyone said it. Christina said it. Heidi said it. Like, all the trainings will tell you. Anyone who's been using Project Broadcast that is on here knows automation does not mean impersonal. It just means you don't have to sit down and send out like 500 text messages, individual, copy and paste, please, for the birds. And let's be honest, $15 a month for a Project Broadcast account, when you can also create mini websites, you can gather people's contact information. I mean, all the things you can do. There's no reason you shouldn't be investing time into learning how to use this tool to the optimal. If there's anything that I talked about that you would like more information about, again, I'm not going to share the full campaign of my Wellness Wednesday, because it's like, it's me talking to people about my personal wellness stuff. But I'm more than happy to share some examples of what that looks like. I did set it up as a calendar campaign so that every week I can go in and put the message in that's going to go out on the specific day that I want it to go out. It's not a drip, it's calendar, so that I can set the specific date and time. I do have a keyword set up, wellness. So people can just text me the word wellness, and then they're opted in, and they get, a response message back from me that's like, thank you so much. As a reminder, you can always opt out of these in the future by just responding pause. I do not use Trello. I use Asana. The other thing I want to mention is all of this. I also have a social media consulting business. So I teach women entrepreneurs how to use Instagram to grow their business in a way that doesn't feel overwhelming or confusing. So if you're like, I want to integrate this stuff into how I use Project Broadcast, and like Heidi said, I want to figure out how to then use social media in a way that funnels people to Project Broadcast, please go to my website and sign up for I always have something free every month. So right now, coming up at the end of this month, I'll have a free 5-day Reels challenge. And the goal is for you to put your content out there to attract the people you're trying to attract, and funnel them into getting their contact information for an exchange, right? That's what you're getting. When they text you, it's an exchange. They get something from you, whatever it is, whether you run, I mean, I can't wait for Heidi to share the scavenger hunt, the word hunt. What a great idea, right? You guys, you are business owners. Treat your business like a business and invest in building relationships with your customers, and use Project Broadcast to do that. Okay, I think I'm done.
Question. What, in your mind, because I know you're big on engagement, what are ways that unfortunately people kind of damage, like what can you do in a message to kind of damage the engagement? And what can you do to improve engagement?
I think, so Christina and Heidi already mentioned it, right? Like, if you don't respond to messages that come back and forth on Project Broadcast in a timely fashion, that can be damaging, because then they assume it's just like all automated stuff. But I think the more important part is to focus on, if you want people to engage with you, you have to engage with them. Whether that's in social media, whether that's through text message marketing, whether that's in Facebook Messenger, like, you cannot expect to grow a business that is people-centric if you're not willing to engage with other people and to have conversations and to spend time doing that. So to automate a huge portion of that so that you can give more time to intentional and meaningful engagement will change everything, because you won't feel as run down by like, oh my God, I have to send 100 text messages to tell all my customers about what we have going on this month. You can sit down and give yourself 10 minutes to craft a message. It will send out to all 100 of them. And then you can have meaningful conversations wherever else you have messaging coming in. Because even if you have automation, or even if you have a funnel set up like Heidi mentioned, right? Like, people text her. People are still going to DM you on Instagram and Facebook or wherever you are. And making the time to meaningfully interact with them there and on the platforms in the comments is so important, because then you look like a human and not like you're just trying to make $1. We're all trying to make $1. We're all here to make money. But if that's all it looks like you're doing, that you're just like a sleazy salesperson who doesn't care about the relationship building process, people feel that.
All right, you got a lot of questions. I answered them because we've done a similar thing, so I'm hoping I answered it correctly, because maybe you did it differently. I don't know. When you do your happy birthday Canva graphic that you showed us, where you put the Starbucks barcode there, excuse me, do you just basically have a card that you're reloading, and then when people scan it, it takes off of that card, and then on occasion you check the balance and then reload the card, but it's basically tied to a single card, right?
Yep, it's tied to a single card. I have it already set up for automatic. So like as soon as it gets below, I think $1, it reloads $15 onto there. So, and then I just get an automatic email. I guess, yeah, I get an email from Starbucks that says like, hey, we've loaded another $15 onto your card. So like, I don't know, you guys literally, most people don't use that thing that I sent to them. Most people don't even use it. I mean, my card does not get reloaded a lot. It's not like I'm spending hundreds of dollars a year on birthday drinks, but just the fact that they have a message from me, people respond to that all the time. Thank you so much. It means so much that you remembered. I really appreciate this. They feel valued and they feel seen, and they feel like you think about them more than just the dollar signs of what they purchase.
Well, if you send me a picture with a Starbucks gift card, I'm going to get a toasted vanilla shaken espresso. So just, I'll text you my birthday after this.
Yeah, I mean, and I will say that's also why I only put $15 on at a time, because in my brain, I'm like, what if there was $100 on there and somebody went and they were like, how much money is on this card? No. So it loads $15 at a time.
Well, we've got, let's see if I got any other questions I want to pop through here. We have some questions Dawn's going to answer. Let's see here. Let me go back here. Let me try to do this. Am I doing this right now? No, I did this wrong. Let me fix this. Where did you go? There we go. All right, so we've got a couple questions before we wrap up. I did see a lot of questions in the chat too. I think Dawn and Joanna probably answered it. You heard Emily mention something potentially about, their systems talking to our systems. We call that integration in Project Broadcast. We do have the potential to do enterprise integrations with direct sales and network marketing companies. We've actually already done a few. So if you're interested in, that happening, we don't actually take the approach of going and talking or trying to talk to folks at corporate directly. We feel pretty strongly in that we're a field-driven business. We try to drive value to you guys. And then if you like what we do, then eventually corporate hears about it, and then we start building relationship at corporate. That's kind of our strategy. So if you love Project Broadcast and a lot of people in your company use Project Broadcast, give us a shout out. And if you know someone at corporate that you want us to talk to, we're always open to have conversations. We actually have network marketing direct sales companies at the corporate level that use Project Broadcast to communicate with the field even. Not you guys communicate with your customers and your team, but some companies use Project Broadcast and actually talk to their consultants in the field for letting them know about things that are upcoming in the company, and company incentives and whatever. So if you ever want to make an intro, or if you just have the opportunity to give us a shout out, we wouldn't be mad at you. So make sure to do that. We're obviously a growing business. If you didn't know, Project Broadcast supports over 32,000 network marketers and direct sellers across 60 plus different companies. So I'd say we're kind of in it, right? We're here to support everybody. I'm going to wrap up with talking again about Summit 75, the code. Make sure to share that with your team. I'm going to say, go to Instagram. Let's see if I get this right. Go to Instagram, look for Project Broadcast, follow Project Broadcast, comment and like the post we just did, and then share that. And then we're going to pick someone to get $100 credit on their Project Broadcast account. And if you don't have Project Broadcast yet, it just means you're going to get it for free for quite some time, because Project Broadcast is only $15. And if you use this Summit 75 code, you get 75% off that first month. And with the $15, you get all the features we just talked about. Each plan in Project Broadcast has a number of credits, and credits just represent the number of outgoing messages that you create in your automations, like keywords and campaigns and scheduled broadcasts. that you've heard us talk about tonight. When you're in direct conversation with someone and just chatting with them, we call that unlimited chat. And unlimited meaning we don't charge you for it. We don't, because we used to get questions saying, are you going to charge me a credit if I respond with a heart emoji? And then people would say, well, I'm not going to respond with a heart emoji because I don't want to spend a credit. And what I'm telling you is that you actually grow your business sending a heart emoji. So if you're thinking about not sending a heart emoji because you're worried about a credit, then we've done something wrong. So chat is free. Your credits go towards your automations. The starter plan is $15 a month. Summit 75 will give you 75% off, or if you share that with someone in your team, they will get 75% off. If $15 a month is too large of a hurdle for you to start, there's also a pay-as-you-go plan. The pay-as-you-go plan is $5. It does not come with any credits. You purchase credits when you need them. For most people, I'm going to make up a number, but I know it's probably true. Well over half, I would probably say 75% of our users are on the starter plan. That seems to be like the perfect sweet spot for people who are starting to add texting to their business or want to use it for prospecting, to jump into Project Broadcast. You must go to training.projectbroadcast.com and create a training account and do evidently this amazing training that Dawn has on high impact communication. If you don't know who Dawn and Joanna are, they're on the call here. Raise your hands. Not me, but they raise their hands. Dawn and Joanna is part of the customer success team at Project Broadcast. When you create your account, you get a Project Broadcast support user contact and a Project Broadcast success user contact. The success user contact is Dawn and Joanna. So when you send a message to that contact, they're the ones answering your question. So when you have a strategy question, I want to make sure everyone gets this. When you have a strategy question, you want to ask the success contact, because that's what they are very gifted at, is understanding strategy. They work with leaders across 60 plus different companies. They have heard it all, seen it all, tried to forget all of it, but they can help you. If you have a question about how something just works or something isn't working properly, that's when you go get support. You can message the Project Broadcast support user, or you can email us at support at projectbroadcast.com to get support from our support team. We're here to help you guys. We've been, building Project Broadcast since 2017. We have a huge heart for folks at network marketing, direct sales. It is by and large our largest user base. Yes, we have like churches and schools and nonprofits and sports teams that use Project Broadcast, but our real heart is in serving what we call the solopreneur, the entrepreneur who's growing a business on their own. They may have a team. If you're in network marketing, direct sales, obviously you have a team, but you're kind of an army of one, but you also have an army with you in your organization. So we're here to help you and serve you. Use the Summit 75 code. This is our first Impact Summit. So depending on the feedback we get from this, and hopefully you got something out of it, maybe we'll do another one. And part of that, to be fully transparent, is can we bring new users into Project Broadcast by sharing how other people are crushing it with Project Broadcast? So if you like the content, your big take-home homework for you is to share the post on Instagram and make sure your team knows how you use Project Broadcast and how you're crushing it, and that they can use the Summit 75 code to get 75% off. Dawn, Joanna, do we have any outstanding questions we need to tackle? Oh, Dawn's got her hand up.
Joanna, do you want to do a wrap up? I just was going to say, for me, I get hives when I don't know what the next steps are. So if there are any other like hives people here, what is going to happen next? If you haven't signed up, of course, do that. But I know I'm seeing a lot of friends in here. So if you are waiting for the recording and you want to know if the chat is going to be in there and the Q&A and how do I ask unanswered questions, I want to tell you all of that right now. So the recording will be coming out to you. We're going to be emailing it. We will be recapping some things. So you might get 2 different emails depending on how quickly we work. But what I would like to do is run through the chat tomorrow and maybe bullet point, recap some things that we talked about, have some links on that for you. So you'll get the recording. When you get the recording, you'll be able to download the chat and the recording and the audio if you want to, or just watch it again. And if you don't get that, tomorrow, Joanna, right? I mean, it should go out tomorrow. If you don't get it, it may mean that the email bounced back from Zoom. So just send us a message. My number, well, Joanna and my number is here under my little face. We're at 254-545-9626. That's also the number you're going to use if you had an unanswered question tonight. So what I would like to do is, I don't want to say, oh, contact Christina, contact Emily, Heidi. I'm going to go ahead and take on the job, Joanna, of collecting those questions that you have for them and passing them along, and they can maybe contact you, or we can get the answers back. And then I know you probably have unanswered questions from the PB team. Also, send the message to us at 254-545-9626, and we will get that to you. So everything that you need will be in your hands.
All right, before we close this out, let's say thank you to our speakers. Christina, what's up? You did an awesome job. Thank you so much. Heidi, the 6-month Project Broadcast Ninja, doing all the things, crushing life. Emily, social media expert and engagement specialist. You guys are doing awesome. Thank y'all so much for coming and sharing with everybody. This has been, actually, I've even learned a couple of things. So if you can't tell, people love that you're giving them great content. Got tons of reactions that are happening. And if you miss something in their talk, then you'll get the email from Dawn and you can go back and watch the replay. And like Dawn said, ask any questions that you have to the phone number that she provided. And again, remember, there's the Project Broadcast Facebook group. Follow us on Instagram and share that post so we can, share with people who don't have Project Broadcast with Summit 75 to join the Project Broadcast family. And make sure to look for your company specific Project Broadcast Facebook group. And if it isn't there, feel free to message us and we'll have a chat about getting one created or helping you grow the audience in the company that you're with so that we can create one, because we don't want a group with just you. We want more than you. So thank you guys so much. We're a few minutes over, but I think we did not too bad. We're like 10 minutes over. I'm happy with that. That's all we've got. Thanks for joining the very first Project Broadcast Impact Summit. Let's hope this is an occurring thing. This was fun. I enjoyed it. Bye,
Thanks
guys.
a lot, Jake.
Yeah,
Thanks,
absolutely.
everyone.
Bye, guys.